In this video, we're gonna go over how you can make $10,000 in cash in the next 30 days without spending a single dollar. This strategy has taken agents that we've partnered with to $15,000 days, $20,000 in profit in their first month. And if implemented properly, will give you the same double-digit returns that you've seen on our YouTube channel. Let's start with step one, Dream 100. You wanna make a list of your contacts. Think friends, family, cousins, solar guy, you're the guy that mows your parents' lawn, whatever. But when I do this, I wanna make a list of first family. I wanna do my mom's side. I'm thinking aunts, uncles, grandma, grandpa, cousins, nieces, nephews. I wanna do the same exact thing for my dad's side of my family. And then I wanna do family friends / friends. This is gonna be people that your family's invited to events or occasions. Think weddings, birthday parties, etc. People you went to school with, former teammates, sorority people that you know, fraternity people that you know, roommates from college, like anything, any connection, like these people will pick up the phone if you call them, basically. This is called the Dream 100, but we want to get at least 100 people on this list. If possible, these are the 100 hottest leads that you'll ever come in contact with, and they're the most likely to do business with you. To make sure that you don't sound like a scripted robot wacko calling up your friends and family, you can use the IRASA framework that I'm about to go over. Let's start with I, introduce. Let's say, for example, that I'm talking to my mom. Hey mom, I just invested into a new business development program, right? We need a reason to be contacting them. I just started and I already feel like I'm learning so much. I just wanted to say thank you for always encouraging me to be better. And one of my assignments is to reach out to some of my biggest supporters to get a testimonial. Do you think you'd be able to help me with this? Now, do this in your own words, of course. This is what I'm giving you so that you can get the ideas flowing. Or the second letter of the acronym is R. It stands for recognition. So whenever your family, friend, mother, whoever decides that they're going to be supportive of your business venture, make sure you recognize that. Here's an example of how I would go about this. Thanks, mom. You're the best. And I knew that I could count on you. I also have a few things that I'd like to go over, and we should be able to knock it out in just under 15 minutes. You want to skip immediately onto the next letter of the acronym, which is A, for appointment. Lock down a time here. This is the biggest thing that I see people mess up on. When you're selling your friends and family, you're not selling them, you're solving a problem that somebody else is going to solve for them anyways. You're doing it for a better rate and you're offering them better service because they're your people. And the thing that you want to remember is that just because we're friends or family doesn't mean that this situation can transition into that type of relationship. What I mean by that is that you're not going to go to the family dinner and start pitching insurance at your mom across the table while she's talking about the news. You want to take this time to have their undivided attention and set aside anything else that would be going on there like it's a real insurance appointment. This is especially relevant when you're talking to your family because they are usually not going to take this super seriously, and we have to set the frame of mind here so that they understand that not only are we a professional, but we're actually able to solve the problem that they have, and we're going to go through a normal appointment so that we can actually earn their testimonial, not just get it because they like us. Let's talk about the next letter in the acronym, which is S. For sale. When you're running the appointment, you want to use fact-finding questions just like you would with any other prospect. And if you're talking to your mom or dad, it might be a little bit awkward at first because you're asking them like, you know who they want to protect, like it's yourself, right? And it's like, hey mom, like, do you want to leave me money, right? And so like, while you don't want to approach it that way, you have to keep in mind here that you want to keep it on topic with the siblings. One of the things that I did when I had this conversation was I let them know, hey, look, realistically, I don't care if you leave me the money. I'm fine with if you leave it to the sisters. I will write it either way. My goal here is just to make sure that you are in the best hands possible and that you're protected. Ultimately, I don't care if I get anything out of it, okay? I'm cool with whatever, all right? And so again, keep in mind here that you do want to go through the appointment as normal, and you can use the skeleton key script that is available in the link down below this video. The next and final letter of this acronym for friends and family is A, ask. Ask for referrals. This is the most important part of the sale here, arguably. This is like the one place you don't want to be lazy because your friends and family are willing to recommend people to you, and they're going to give you the highest quality referral you can get in any regard, right? Because they know you, they trust you, they love you, and they're willing to do business with you. If you're asking for referrals, they don't have to have done business with you. Keep this in mind. If they don't buy from you, it's okay to still ask for referrals. If they're like, you know what, I just don't need this, I already have insurance, it's fine, whatever, be like, okay, great, you have the best plan possible. Now we're going to jump through the referral script real quick, which is regardless of the decision they make, by the way, guys, keep this in mind, regardless of the decision making. I cannot stress this enough. Here's the referral script. Mom, brother, cousin, whoever. I really appreciated the opportunity to be able to help you. And I was just wondering, can I ask you, in your mind, how do you feel that I was able to help you best or help you the most, right? Wait for them to tell you. They'll start rambling on about all of the amazing rates and things and this and that and the thirds, or how you were able to make sure that their kid was okay or whatever. And so you just want to reinforce this here. Now, with that in mind, who do you know that might be struggling with the same problems, and list out the problems? Now, I don't want to say that's extra credit. That's the bare minimum, because if you rehash those problems, it starts to bring people to their mind. So if I say to you, hey, let's say that you just got in a car accident, and I said, hey, who's your insurance company? Like, how are they doing for you? And you were like, well, I have, let's say, I'll use a fake company. Let's say Boring Insurance Mutual. And you have Boring Insurance Mutual, and you had a really terrible experience with them. And then I also just got in a car accident, and I haven't filed my claim yet, but I'm also with Boring Insurance Mutual. You might be able to give me insight on how to solve my problem because you just went through this process. And so that's the same thing that we're going to take advantage of here, so that we can offer more value to the people in their network as well. So who do you know that might be struggling with overpaying, or might not even have any insurance at all, or their daughter isn't covered? Like, whatever it is that they're complaining about or telling you is an issue, make sure that you touch on that, because it's going to like immediately pop faces into their mind. And so they'll tell you who it is. Oh, well, you know, my cousin blah 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 is, you know, struggling with this, and he doesn't even have any insurance. Before I lunge for the referral, seek to understand here. Okay, can you tell me a little bit more about this person and why you think we could even help them? Once they tell you and they realize that that person has a real problem and you can solve their problem, they're going to be past comfortable referring you out. Then you want to make sure that this is approached properly. How do you think it would be best to approach them? Do you feel like you should communicate to them first that I would be calling? And whenever they give you the answer here, you want to make sure that you're framing what they're going to say, because typically when someone goes out to refer you, they jump straight to rates. I don't know why, but it's what happens.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell them how you have the best insurance and you get the best rates and you're my son, so you're awesome. Yeah, you're my brother, you're great.
That's not a selling point for a business, right? They don't care if you're their brother or not when you're talking about how the referrals feel about you. It's about solving their problem. Once they tell you what they think they should say, you can reframe what they're saying. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Is it okay if I suggest something to you? What if you talk to them a little more about how you were overpaying for your insurance and how you were struggling with the peace of mind of your daughter being responsible for the funeral, the car payment, the house payment, et cetera, and how he might be having those same issues right now and how we were able to work together to solve those? Do you think that would be more helpful to him? And after that, I'm just going to ask for the phone number. Super simple. And so then when they give me the phone number, now I'm going to say, okay, great. And so besides Jim, is there anyone else you feel we could help? And now you go right back through the script all over again. And this is beneficial here because you're able to get more than one contact versus just only getting the one referral, right? And so even if you only close at 50% on your referrals, you still got one deal out of the situation. Now, here is a bonus that I'm going to give you real quick. You actually need to suggest that they call them, like in the script. If you don't suggest this, they're not going to call them. If they don't call them, which they sometimes won't, by the way, ask them to text them. Hey, if you want to text them, let them know I'm going to be reaching out. If they don't text them, which does happen, always put yourself in a group message to avoid any disconnect. That way they know you're calling from someone that they know and you're no longer a telemarketer. Let's jump straight into step 2. This is your existing clients referral network. So you want to make a list of all the clients you currently have. If you've got 5, 10, 50, 500, whatever it is, make a list of all of them, put them in a CRM. If you don't have a CRM currently, get a CRM. And if you don't want a CRM, still get a CRM and put these people in there. The reason why is because it's an easier way to stay organized. You're not constantly hunting around trying to find things, which is something I struggled with when I got into the industry because I used to work paper stacks and save people in my phone. Terrible way of managing your business and extremely unprofessional. So if you want to be a pro, get a CRM and make sure that you're putting all of your clients in there. And then that way, when you go to call them, it's just they're all in one little stack and literally basically follow the exact same script that we just went over. And I'm going to run through it so you can get an example of what this would look like. Let me be just like painfully honest with you for a second. We are really boring to these people. Like insurance to them is so boring. And so we have to make it fun. We also have to remember is that they're probably not going to remember our name unless we have really followed up with them like you should be doing. So if you want to go and get your client back to give you referrals, you want to jog their memory with who you are. Hey, Tracy, it's Julian. They usually will have no idea who they're talking to. So I'll let them know. It's your insurance guy. Then they'll still usually have no idea what you're talking about. You didn't forget about me already, did you? They'll typically start telling you something along the lines of,
oh, I've just been so busy, da 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 da.
And I'll just ask them, so how's it going? Just get something cooking. They usually will give you some small talk. If you're selling FE, they usually will start talking about grandkids. If you're younger, they'll start talking about work. What you want to do from here is you want to just make sure that you acknowledge what they say so that you're not being rude, but you want to make sure that you're also getting to the point, right? This is not just a fun time call. This is you're calling for a reason. So we'll let them know. Yeah, listen, Tracy, the reason for the call is that I really appreciated the opportunity to be able to help you. And I was just wondering if I could improve in any way. Can I ask you, in your mind, how do you feel I was able to help you the most? Here's something that I figured out, guys. If you're willing to be vulnerable and ask for help, typically your clients will never say no. I've never had someone say no. If you have had someone say no in this situation, please leave a comment down below because I gotta know. But when you get vulnerable with people, they feel almost inclined to give you something. And the reason why is because everyone is afraid of being vulnerable, especially in like the US. It's very like frowned upon to, especially if you're a guy, to be vulnerable, open up, or be emotional. And so this is a very, very powerful tactic and strategy you can use to really get them to open up with you. Again, when they do this, just start from the top with the script. Hey, with that in mind, who do you know that might be struggling? Da 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 da. Might not have any insurance. Tell me a little bit more. Why could we help them? How do you think you should approach? Just go through the same thing. And so again, if you don't have a CRM, get a freaking CRM. Let's talk about step 3, call to rewrite. You'd actually be surprised. I was one of these agents, so I know all about it. But my first month, I wrote between 35 and 40K in business, and none of it stuck. Literally, I made like $300. Horrible. I didn't understand underwriting. I had sold some stuff previously, like gym memberships and real estate. But when I was selling gym memberships, there was no underwriting. And so this was like a completely foreign concept to me. I was like 20 years old, had no clue what I was doing. The thing that I realized though is that there's actually a ton of money in this pile with people. And I've talked to agents before where they've written up the same amount of business, maybe even more sometimes. And they literally just like, it just doesn't stick and they just don't go after it again. And so I know this one might be super obvious, but it's one of the fastest ways to pick up cash in the industry. If they've declined, charged back, they never issued, whatever happened, just call them up and rewrite them. And so I'm gonna give you a framework real quick and how you can reignite this if you weren't able to get them on the first call. And once you get them back on the phone, just treat them exactly like a lead, because they are still a lead. They're not yet a client. So make sure that you use this framework to set the tone. So the framework is ARR. Let's talk about the first letter. Acknowledge that they were declined. Let them know this is normal. The first time we try something, we usually don't succeed. And so it's just like riding a bike. You want to remind them, which is the second letter here. Remind them of why they're getting the insurance. Because I just applied for insurance. I'm annoyed because I got declined. And now I've got to talk to this insurance guy even more. So we've got to remind them why. Listen, Miss Jones, I usually will call it the elephant in the room. I know this can be a little bit of a pain in the butt the first time around, but the thing is we want to make sure that we can measure twice and cut once so that your daughter isn't on the hook for that $15,000 bill. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does make sense. This is the second R of the acronym, which is rewrite. So I got another option here for you, Miss Jones, that I think you might get approved for, but we won't know until we apply. I'm just gonna jump straight into my next application. If this happens to you in the appointment, you can also use the ARR acronym to acknowledge, remind, and rewrite the prospect on the spot. So if you're currently losing deals because people are telling you they don't want to fill out another application, they go into witness protection and you never hear from them again currently, then make sure you use the ARR acronym. So those are the 3 ways that you can add 10K in cash with no ad spend in the next 30 days to your insurance business. If you want more content like this, click the like button, click the subscribe button down below, and leave a comment so we can see which one was the most helpful for you, so we know what to give you in the next video. We'll see you soon.